Avoidance can start chasing you in ways you never expected when you make these 5 shifts. If you've ever been patient, supportive, loyal, and understanding with someone who has avoidant tendencies, only to watch them become distant or make you feel like you're just another option, you know how confusing that can be. You give them attention, you respect their space, you try to understand their behavior, and yet somehow they still seem to move further away.
And here's the uncomfortable truth that most relationship advice leaves out.
Constantly being available, endlessly accommodating their behavior, and asking for almost nothing in return doesn't always make an avoidant value you more. In many cases, it teaches them that you'll remain there regardless of how little effort they give. When you're always accessible, always responding, always adjusting your life around them, your presence can eventually become something they take for granted. You're no longer something they feel they need to pursue. You're simply part of the background. Avoidant people often place a strong value on independence and personal freedom. So when they know they can have unlimited access to you without making much effort, there may be very little internal motivation for them to move toward you.
But that doesn't mean you need to play games, become cold, disappear without explanation, or manipulate them into chasing you. The real shift happens when you change the way you show up. There are 5 powerful things you can begin doing that can completely change the dynamic. These aren't tricks designed to make someone obsessed with you. They're about becoming emotionally grounded, maintaining your own identity, creating healthy boundaries, and allowing the other person to experience the natural consequences of not investing in you. Avoidants are often more responsive when they sense that connection isn't something they can simply take for granted.
When you have your own world, your own priorities, and your own standards, the relationship stops feeling like something guaranteed. And that can create curiosity. It can make them wonder where they stand with you. It can make them recognize your absence. And most importantly, it can give them a reason to participate instead of simply receiving. So let's look at the 5 shifts that can naturally change the dynamic and encourage an avoidant to move toward you instead of you constantly moving toward them. The first and most important shift is becoming emotionally predictable.
Avoidant people can become uncomfortable when emotions feel chaotic, intense, or impossible to anticipate.
If every moment of distance leads to panic, anger, repeated messages, or emotional pressure, they may associate closeness with stress and retreat even further. That's why emotional stability matters. Being emotionally predictable doesn't mean hiding your feelings or pretending that everything is fine. It doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means learning how to experience your emotions without allowing every reaction from them to control your behavior.
If they suddenly become distant, you don't immediately chase them for reassurance.
If they take longer to respond, you don't assume the worst. If they become emotionally unavailable, you don't desperately try to force closeness. Instead, you remain grounded. You notice what's happening, you acknowledge how it makes you feel, and then you respond from self-respect rather than fear. For example, if an avoidant pulls back emotionally, you don't need to punish them with silence or bombard them with questions. You can remain calm and continue living your life.
That kind of response communicates something powerful. Your behavior affects me, but it does not control me. And that distinction matters. When an avoidant sees that your emotional state isn't completely dependent on their attention, they can begin to experience you as someone who is safe to connect with without feeling trapped by emotional demands. Your stability becomes reassuring. They begin to understand that closeness with you doesn't automatically mean losing their independence or becoming responsible for managing your emotions. At the same time, emotional stability increases your own value because you're no longer abandoning yourself every time they create distance. You become someone who can love deeply without losing yourself, and that is far more powerful than constantly trying to convince someone to stay.
The second shift is learning to value your own space more than you value their distance. Avoidants often care deeply about their independence. They want room to think, breathe, make decisions, and maintain a sense of individuality. But instead of constantly worrying about how much space they need, start asking yourself a different question.
How much space do I need? This changes everything. Rather than organizing your life around their availability, build a life that exists independently of the relationship. Spend time with people you care about. Focus on your work. Develop your interests. Pursue your goals. Take care of your body and your mind. Make plans that have nothing to do with whether they're available. Don't create a busy life simply to make them jealous or wonder about you. Create it because your life genuinely matters. When you stop monitoring their every move and start investing your attention back into yourself, your energy changes. You're no longer waiting for them to decide when you deserve attention. You're no longer sitting around hoping they'll finally become emotionally available. You're living. And that independence can create a completely different dynamic. An avoidant who was once comfortable assuming you would always be there may begin noticing that you aren't constantly waiting around. They may become curious about what you're doing, what you're thinking, and where they fit into your life. That's where genuine pursuit can begin.
Not because you manipulated them, not because you pretended not to care, but because you stopped making them the center of your world. The goal isn't to make an avoidant feel insecure. The goal is to become secure enough that you don't need to chase someone who isn't meeting you halfway. When you have your own space, your own identity, and your own direction, your presence becomes something they have to consciously choose to participate in, rather than something they automatically receive. And that is where the dynamic begins to change.
This doesn't mean becoming emotionally unavailable yourself or pretending that you don't care.
It means building a life that is already fulfilling without needing an avoidant person to complete it. Your life should be interesting, meaningful, and exciting enough that someone has to genuinely contribute if they want to become part of it. When you invest in your goals, hobbies, friendships, work, and personal growth, you're sending a powerful message without saying a word. You are capable of standing on your own. You have your own direction. You have your own priorities. And your attention isn't something that anyone automatically receives.
Avoidant people can become uncomfortable when they feel someone is becoming overly dependent on them.
Constant messages, excessive reassurance seeking, or trying to close every bit of emotional distance can make them feel trapped and encourage even more withdrawal. But when you have your own life, and you're intentional about where you place your time and energy, they begin to notice the difference. They realize that your attention isn't unlimited, your presence isn't guaranteed. And maintaining a meaningful connection with you requires participation.
For instance, if they suddenly become distant, don't immediately abandon everything you're doing to fill the silence. Don't spend hours trying to figure out what went wrong, or sending message after message just to restore the connection. Keep moving. Go to the plans you already made. Spend time with people you care about. Work toward your goals. Enjoy your hobbies. Take care of yourself. Maintain the boundaries you've created. You're not doing these things to punish them. You're doing them because your life doesn't stop simply because someone else has temporarily stepped away. That communicates something much stronger than chasing ever could. It says, I care about you, but I also have a life of my own. And when that becomes your genuine mindset, the dynamic can shift dramatically. Instead of assuming you'll always be available whenever they decide to return, they may begin to recognize that your presence has value. They may start looking for opportunities to reconnect, spend time with you, or regain your attention. The attraction comes from seeing someone who has an identity beyond the relationship. Someone who can love deeply without becoming dependent.
someone who doesn't have to be chased because they're already secure within themselves. The third shift is simple but extremely important. Reward connection instead of rewarding withdrawal. An avoidant person may sometimes retreat when emotional closeness begins to feel intense. They may create distance when they feel pressured, overwhelmed, or worried that their independence is disappearing. A common reaction is to chase them. You send another message. You ask what's wrong. You try harder. You give more.
You attempt to convince them that everything is okay.
But if every withdrawal is followed by increased attention from you, the pattern can unintentionally reinforce their retreat. They learn that when they pull away, you move closer. Instead, begin paying attention to the moments when they actually make an effort to connect. When they initiate a conversation, recognize it. When they open up emotionally, respond with warmth. When they make plans, appreciate their effort. When they show genuine interest in you, engage with them instead of taking it for granted.
The point isn't to shower them with praise or make them feel like they need your approval.
It's simply about showing that healthy effort creates positive connection. People tend to repeat behaviors that lead to rewarding experiences. So when an avoidant takes a genuine step toward you, and that step is met with warmth, acceptance, and emotional safety, they can begin associating closeness with something positive rather than something threatening. But when they disappear, you don't need to chase after them, trying to restore the connection. You don't have to punish them either. Simply allow the space to exist.
Continue with your day. Stay focused on your priorities.
Let them experience the natural reality that withdrawing doesn't result in receiving even more of your attention. This creates a healthier balance. Can receives connection. Effort receives warmth. Withdrawal receives space. You're not playing a game. You're simply refusing to reinforce a pattern that leaves you doing all the emotional work. Over time, this can help an avoidant recognize that if they want closeness with you, they need to participate in creating it. They begin to understand that your attention isn't something they receive automatically. It grows through mutual effort. And that's what can create genuine pursuit. They start becoming more curious about you. They start thinking about the connection.
They may begin reaching out more often, initiating conversations, or finding reasons to spend time with you because they realize that meaningful closeness requires their involvement.
This approach creates a balance between being emotionally available and maintaining healthy boundaries. You're not becoming unreachable. You're becoming intentional. You're showing them that there is a safe place for connection, but there is also a standard for how that connection is maintained. And that combination can make you far more compelling than simply being available all the time. The fourth shift is learning how to remain calm when they create distance.
This is one of the hardest things to master, because when someone you care about suddenly becomes distant,
your nervous system can immediately start searching for answers. You wonder what changed. You wonder whether they still care. You wonder whether you've done something wrong. And the natural impulse may be to reach out repeatedly, ask for reassurance, or try to force the closeness back into place. But with avoidant behavior, that reaction can sometimes create exactly the outcome you're trying to prevent. The more pressure they feel, the more they may retreat. So when they pull away, practice staying grounded. This doesn't mean becoming cold.
It doesn't mean pretending you don't have feelings. And it certainly doesn't mean accepting disrespect or indefinite emotional unavailability. It means refusing to let someone else's temporary distance dictate your emotional state or your entire day. If they become quieter for a few days, don't immediately create a story in your mind about what it means. Don't spend every waking moment analyzing their last message. Don't abandon your responsibilities just because they're temporarily less available. Return your attention to your own life. Focus on your work. Spend time with your friends.
Exercise, read, create something, pursue your goals.
Do the things that remind you that your identity exists beyond this relationship.
When you remain composed during moments of distance, you're communicating emotional strength. You're showing that closeness with you doesn't come with emotional chaos or pressure. You're also demonstrating that you can tolerate space without immediately turning it into a crisis. And that can change how an avoidant experiences you. Instead of thinking, if I get close, I'll be trapped in someone else's emotional world, they can begin to think, I can have closeness with this person and still have room to breathe. That's an important difference.
Your calmness doesn't guarantee that an avoidant will chase you, and it shouldn't be used as a technique to control their behavior.
The deeper purpose is to stop chasing someone who is choosing distance and start protecting your own emotional stability. Because when you stop reacting from fear, you regain your power. You become more centered, you become more intentional, and you give the other person the opportunity to decide whether they're willing to step forward and meet you. Sometimes, that space is exactly what allows an avoidant to recognize what your presence actually means to them. Fill your time with things that genuinely make you feel alive. Work toward goals that matter to you. Spend time with people who bring out the best in you. Protect the boundaries you've worked hard to create.
When your happiness isn't determined by whether an avoidant is texting you, calling you, or giving you attention, something changes inside you. You become less reactive and more grounded. And ironically, that emotional independence can make your presence much more attractive. Avoidant people can be highly sensitive to emotional pressure. So when they see that you remain steady, instead of becoming anxious every time they step back, they may feel less threatened by closeness. At the same time, your calmness can create curiosity. They notice that you're not responding the way they expected. They may expect you to chase. They may expect you to demand explanations. They may expect you to become emotionally overwhelmed. But instead, you remain centered. You continue living your life. That contrast can make them start paying closer attention to you.
By staying composed when they withdraw, you're protecting your emotional energy while also demonstrating that your presence has value. You're showing that you can offer warmth without becoming dependent and closeness without losing your identity. That balance can encourage an avoidant person to become more willing to invest, reconnect, and make an effort. And that brings us to the fifth and final shift. Lead with your energy instead of constantly trying to explain yourself with words.
Avoidant people often pay close attention to what happens beneath the conversation.
They notice your tone, your body language, your confidence, your emotional state, and the atmosphere you create when you're around them. That's why what you communicate through your behavior can sometimes have a greater impact than what you repeatedly tell them. You can tell someone, I care about you, 100 times. But if your behavior communicates insecurity, fear, or desperation, those words won't create the feeling you're hoping for. Instead, let your actions speak. Live your life with confidence. Know what you want. Have standards. Protect your boundaries. Stay connected to your interests and passions.
Don't constantly check whether they're still interested in you.
Don't repeatedly explain how much they mean to you just to receive reassurance in return. Let your presence communicate your value naturally. When an avoidant reaches toward you, meet that effort with genuine warmth. Smile, be present, enjoy the interaction. Let them feel that their effort creates a positive experience with you. But when they retreat, don't suddenly become a completely different person. Don't panic, don't beg, don't start proving your worth. Remain grounded. This creates a powerful consistency in your behavior. You're communicating without saying it directly, I enjoy connection, but I don't need to chase anyone for it.
That kind of emotional independence can be incredibly powerful.
You're no longer trying to convince someone that you're worth choosing. You're living in a way that demonstrates that you already know your worth. And that's the difference between talking about confidence and actually embodying it. Avoidant people may be drawn toward what feels valuable, while still giving them enough room to maintain their sense of independence. When you lead with your energy, instead of constantly trying to persuade them with words, you allow them to experience you, rather than simply hear explanations about who you are. Your confidence becomes visible. Your boundaries become visible. Your self-respect becomes visible. Your life becomes visible.
And instead of trying to earn their attention, you allow them to decide whether they're willing to step forward and become part of your world.
That's the final piece. But remember, none of these strategies are about controlling an avoidant person or manipulating them into chasing you. They're not designed to make someone obsessed with you. They're about changing your own behavior so that the relationship has room for mutual effort, respect, and genuine connection. Understanding avoidant behavior is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you start applying what you've learned in your everyday life. Pay attention to your reactions. Notice what happens inside you when they pull away.
Observe whether you're tempted to chase, over-explain, or abandon your own boundaries just to restore closeness.
Then make a different choice. Maybe today, the change is simply staying calm when they become distant. Tomorrow, it might be giving genuine warmth when they make an effort to connect. Another day, it might mean choosing your own plans instead of canceling everything because they suddenly become available. These small decisions may seem insignificant at first, but together they create a completely different dynamic. You stop teaching someone that distance earns them more of your attention. You stop rewarding inconsistency with endless effort.
And you start showing that connection with you is something that requires participation from both people.
Start with one change. You don't have to transform everything overnight. Choose one behavior and practice it consistently. Watch how your own emotional state changes first. Then pay attention to how the other person responds. You may notice that when you stop chasing, you become calmer. When you stop over-explaining, you become clearer. When you stop abandoning your boundaries, you become stronger. And when you stop making someone else responsible for your happiness, you become much more secure within yourself. That's the real goal. Not simply getting an avoidant to chase you, but becoming someone who no longer needs to chase anyone who isn't willing to meet you halfway. Because genuine attraction isn't built through manipulation.
It's built through confidence,
Emotional stability, self-respect, healthy boundaries, and mutual effort. So don't just listen to these ideas and move on. Choose one today. Stay calm when they pull away. Protect your time. Reward genuine effort. Keep building your own life. Let your actions speak louder than your explanations. Then watch what changes, not only in their behavior but within you. And if this message helped you understand avoidant behavior in a completely different way, share your experience in the comments. Tell us what you've noticed, what you're struggling with, or which of these 5 shifts you're going to practice first. Your experience could help someone else who is going through the exact same situation.
And if you want more videos about avoidance psychology, emotional patterns, relationships, and the deeper dynamics behind attraction and connection, make sure you're subscribed to Inside Avoidant and turn on notifications. Because the more you understand these patterns, the less you have to react to them blindly. You stop chasing, you stop proving, you stop abandoning yourself for someone's attention, and you start becoming the kind of person who knows their value, protects their peace, and allows the right people to make the effort to stay. Your transformation doesn't begin when they finally chase you. It begins the moment you stop chasing what isn't meeting you halfway.